Ah, there it is. My first real mountain bike in my very favorite color, bright fluorescent orange. This was my first step out into the wild. This was my first real mountain bike. I know I said that before, but I just had to say it again. And it was time to put it together meticulously, not like some budget store mountain bike that you buy already assembled, and then you have to go back and tighten all the screws and adjust everything, just like putting it together for yourself, because you can't trust somebody who really doesn't care about your bike to put your bike together. This was no budget store mountain bike. I ordered this online from a reputable reseller from the factory. I think it was a year old when I bought it, but it was a brand new bike. It was just the previous year's model. So, had everything I wanted on it, and it was time for me to get it together, test it out, and take it on some trails. At the time, I was in my early 50s, and I'm like, I got to do something to get some real exercise. My job really wasn't giving me that. I didn't get that opportunity, so I needed to get out of the house and get on the road, on the path, and get some real exercise. And I needed that getaway time, just like everybody does. Putting off going out and riding or walking or hiking for one day turns into 2 days, into a week, into 2 weeks, into a month, into 3 months, into 6 months, into a year. Because it's real easy to fall into that pit of tomorrow. I've got something else to do. I can just go tomorrow. You got to do it now. You got to force yourself to get off your ass and go out and do it. And once you've done it, it becomes easier for you to do it the next day or the next time, or put yourself on a schedule 3 days a week, at this certain time. But if you keep giving up on that, then you'll fall back into that same pit. So I stayed diligent. I started slow, began in small trails or around the block a couple times just to build up my stamina. Of course, I wasn't the type of person that was real good at stamina. I was the type of person that was real bad at stamina. Even when I was a kid. If we went on a cross-country run, I'm good for about the first eighth or quarter of it. After that, I'm done. I'm spent. I'm good for short sprints. That's all. That's all I'm ever good for. So I knew, and I had a mountain bike when I was younger, and I didn't really do any mountain biking. I just rode it around to get some exercise, but I didn't really get into it to train myself, to work myself out, to push myself a little bit. And that was the whole point, because I know if I just drove around the block a couple times, I wasn't going to lose weight. I wasn't going to get in shape. I know that getting in shape was going to take time and effort on my part. And because mountain biking was an interest of mine, I had more motivation to do it. That's why I picked it. I like off-roading. So mountain biking falls right in the same realm, and I like to enjoy the outdoors. So that was my motivating factor in it all. And that's what allows me to put forth the effort, because I want to do it. I tried sitting in a gym, riding a stationary bike. I tried the treadmill. I tried all this. I had the treadmill at home. What I discovered is, most of the time you buy the at-home equipment, it becomes something to hang your clothes on versus something to really exercise on. That's what happened at my house. So I needed something where I could get out of the house. Besides that, I wanted to get away from everything. I didn't want to think about work. I didn't want to think about the projects I had at home. I wanted to get away to exercise and do that. Here I was at 220 pounds at the time, and I needed to lose weight. I needed to get in shape. I needed to get off my ass. And this was my motivating factor to put forth my energy toward doing it, and that's exactly what I did. Once I got past getting back on two wheels, getting myself feeling familiar and comfortable on two wheels again, and I knew the brakes were working good. I was good with shifting the gears without grinding them, and so I got familiar with the bike itself. I think that's the biggest part. Also set up the suspension. It's got air suspension, so you need to add air based upon your weight. And so I did that so that and of course the proper air pressure, you always check the air pressure, just the simple things. Check the bolts. And so I took it out on the first couple trails, and yeah, I was winded. I was winded big time. So what I did is take a break. I always have a backpack on my back. It's got water in it. Since I'm diabetic, I have sugar with me, whether it's a sweet tea or whatever. I always have to carry that way. I have to monitor everything. And I also purchased, at the time, was just a cheap used Garmin bike computer. And with that Garmin, I discovered, well, if I monitor my heart rate, that way I can really kind of stay on top of it. So I purchased a chest strap off of Amazon with a chest heart monitor that's Bluetooth that connects with the Garmin unit. So I can monitor my heart rate, and it's on the screen on the bike computer while I'm riding. And I also have its settings on it, so that what you basically do is take your age and subtract that from the number 220, and that gives you your maximum heart rate, according to my heart doctor. And according to all the data. So I set that based upon that. I think it was like at 159 or 60 at the time. And that was my maximum heart rate. So when my heart rate gets near there or gets there, it'll alert me. And then I can stop and take a break. Wait for my heart rate to go back down because it's real time. I can see it, take a break, take off again. So that's what basically my limiting factor on my bike rides is my blood sugar and my heart rate. So I monitor both of them as I'm riding, and I have a blood sugar monitor that will alert me when it gets low. So that's what I do. And the bicycle computer also, it records the distance, how fast I'm going. It obviously records my heart rate. It records the elevation, records the temperature. It's pretty intricate. So that really helps me out on my bike rides, because when I'm done, when I finish, it'll send out a full report through Strava and Garmin Connect, and I get a full report so that I know what kind of a ride I had, what the distance and everything. So that is a real great tool to have. I spent a lot of time on this bike. As a matter of fact, I put about 1,600 miles on this bike in about a 4.5-5 year span. And then as life goes, I didn't spend as much time on it. And I bought a bike for my wife and I that we could ride together. And I didn't spend a lot of time putting forth the effort. But while I was riding that bike and I was putting in all that time and effort, I lost more than 30 pounds from the riding, from the time and exercise that I was putting in on that bike. And I was confident that, oh yeah, I lost this weight now, no problem, I can keep it off. Well, that's not realistic. I wasn't able to keep it off, and I started gaining it back because I wasn't riding like I was before. My new bike that my wife didn't ride with me as much, I couldn't take it out on the trails because it just wasn't competent. So a number of years go by, and I decided, well, the only way I'm going to do it is to get back on that horse and ride again. So I found a good, nice used bike, this Luna X2. I found it for sale from somebody who owned it for a few years and only put maybe 100 miles on it. So I got it earlier this year, and within 3 months, I've already got 450 miles on it. I'm doubling down on it. I really enjoyed the rides. I really missed the rides. I really missed the time I spent out. And I'm more than dedicated now of getting back on it and getting back into it, so that I'm not going to fall back into that same, well, I'm going to do something else, or I'm not going to take the time to ride. No, I'm committed now. Because if you don't commit yourself, then you're never going to go through it. But it has to be an interest. You have to have some interest in something in order to commit yourself. And if you don't have an interest in it, if hiking's your interest, go for it. But you got to stay on top of it. You got to stay on top of yourself. This bike now the Luna is a pedal assist, which is great because now I can do what I wasn't able to do before. Before, I could not go up these bigger hills. I couldn't do it. Even though I had spent so much time and so many miles and so much effort, I still didn't have the stamina to climb these hills. So I would have to bypass a lot of that. Now I can. I use Pedal Assist 1, the very basic pedal assist, and now I can do it. Because that little extra effort that helps, it allows me to do that. I was against e-bikes in the beginning, and then once I tried one, I'm like, whoa, this is a game changer for people that are either struggling or that need it. And I was one of those. And I jumped on it with both feet, and I had to learn the bike, and I'm still learning it, but I can say that there's a lot that I can do that I couldn't do before. Even though I had dedicated myself and all that effort, I just didn't have what it took. Maybe climbing this one hill, I might have stopped 2-3 times easy. It might take me forever to get up this little hill. Well, now I don't have that problem. Now I can master that and move on. And I can do things that I couldn't do before. Because now I have that little extra assistance to help me get there. And that gives me the confidence to go farther.